All right, here we go. Super sunny, hot, ridiculously gruesome day in Las Vegas. We are going to work on this front end because we have that one sitting right there. So let's go. What we need to start with is removing the radiator AC surround and transmission cooler because the front end of the Jeep is way narrower. It's only about this wide for the radiator. So got to get that off so we can get the front end set and see how it fits from that. So let's start with that. Saving all these wires back because we're using most of it, if not all of it. Okay, here we have it. It is so hot. You get about a minute and a half before my phone dies from heat. 2 bolts to hold the whole radiator shroud assembly in. A set of now leaking pipes to move out of the way. Lower radiator hose, transmission cooler, everything all set there. So let's move this beast and see what happens. Okay, I'm going to try this again today. Brought the camera out because it is so hot. My phone kept shutting down. What I'm going to do is try and work on getting the front clip on. I know I'm going to have to trim down the wheel wells, but I'm going to start by moving the gantry down, lifting it up, and trying to kind of situate it that way and figure out what I need to cut and go from there. So let's get started. That's not the right spot. All right, let's get this electrical out of the way. All right, I'm going to save you the 30 minutes of back and forth trying to get this front end on, but was just kind of stuck between the firewall where the air conditioning unit is and then getting past all the ABS garbage. I'm not sure if I'm going to take that off or not, but it's really a pain in the butt trying to get that whole big set of cables out of the way, but I eventually got everything cleared and got it set where it needs to be. Okay, I'm not sure what I said or recorded fighting the heat and batteries, but I have everything somewhat lined up. I have it at a height that's close to where it is on the cab, but as you can see here, it is too high up on the body mount, so the cab needs to come down, and it will not clear because the wheel well is sitting right here. So either this needs to go down, which I think it does, but for that to go down, the firewall of the Jeep here needs to get cut down because we need that space to lower the entire thing, and I can't take any more out of the firewall down below. The problem there comes from what we have for the air conditioning box and any of the stuff along the top here. But as long as I maintain that same line, I think I'll be pretty okay. So let's get to cutting and see what we can do. Well, change of plan. The wheel well back here is 39 inches off the ground. The tire is 29, plus there's going to be a 5-inch drop back there. A 29-inch tire plus a 5-inch drop is 34 inches, and that top of that fender is also at 39 inches. So the line where that fender is level. So what I need to do is accommodate the body to fit, and it's going to sit a little higher on the chassis than I thought it was. It's probably going to come down a little bit back here, but it's not going to be a whole lot to level it out. So what I just need to do now is cut that firewall so I can move, or not the firewall, the inner fender, so I can move everything rearward to match up to this door gap here. All right, trimming more firewall down here, more wheel well, still not a firewall. Okay, get to it. Let's see. It's about Russia. lines. Oh, I guess I gotta go in here. Don't want to cut through anything important. What am I hitting? It's just a grip of electrical wires down here. I do not need to cut through for any reason, known or unknown. Okay, can always weld it back in. Oof. Man. Got about 2 inches here. Need to get through. Oh, man. All right, no brake lines cut open. That's good. Now, let's slide this monster. Look at that. Now, we're crooked. And come around the hinge. What do I keep hitting here? Can't tell. There we go. Whew. Over here, nice wheel well bracket. I'd like to keep that. I have to bend that up. And it looks like I'm hitting these cooler lines I don't need. That little bracket right there. Gotta hold on to that. I'm just gonna bend it up. Everything else looks like it'll clear on this side. Felt pretty good. I don't know how the headers are gonna fit through here. I guess I got some room. But everything else on this end looks clear. Over here, still not sure if I'm gonna clear all this brake line mess. And I've just got to go back a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I had to trim back to the bigger support. Not sure if you can see it here, but right to the edge of that floor support, it had come out to about here, so I had to trim like 1.5 inches off. So that should be enough to get the cab down and forward to meet up with the fenders. Let's see if that worked.
Ah!
It just fell off.
I don't know.
All right.
What are we doing?
We're gonna turn it this way, set it on, then we gotta tilt it up and put the nuts in.
I want to count this.
Quick.
Yep. Oh, I see it right there. Wait, let's lift it up. There, ooh, back, over, there. Ooh. Yeah. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me get a little closer to this. Okay. I can hold it while you do it. I got it. Uh-oh, you took off the thing. It's off the thing. There. There you go.
Look at that.
It's nice.
And it's not too far off either.
No, it looks good.
This side's a little further out, but
I was standing back looking at it. I'm like, dang. Not bad.
man, I love it. That is so cool.
This side just needs to come down a little bit in the front. No, the hood's fine, or it's just the grate goes up. It needs to come down.
I think that's tweaked.
It looks like it's tweaked.
Because the bracket on the bumper bar
Yeah.
goes way down right here.
So the bracket is crooked, but
Yeah.
everything else looks straight to me.
Yeah.
Everything looks straight.
This will come up. There's something back here holding the fender out. I gotta look and see what that is, but that'll allow it to come up and in.
Okay.
I don't even know how many years it's been without a hood, you know?
Right.
That's so cool. I'm so stoked about this.
Looks good, babe.
Okay, here's a quick little wrap up of where we're at. The box is centered on the frame rails, about as far forward as it's going to go. We have 8 inches in here, which will be filled with tikis and such. We're also centered in the back, and pretty dead on for some of these brackets. I'm going to cut this guy, move it in, and re-weld it up on the cross support bar that's there. I'll be able to use that body mount there. Not sure if I'm moving that over to the frame just yet. And back here in back, the body mount here lines up with the plate. I'm gonna have to extend that maybe a little bit for this mount, be able to use the pucks and everything that came from the factory all back here. Bumper will come out like this. Right above, I'm going to maintain the hitch, so I'll be able to tow anything with this if I want to. Really happy with how all of this has turned out. The front gap, it's a little hard here because we've got smaller wheels on right now. It'll fill that a little better, but as you can see, it's still too far forward. I'm not running these big monster wheel arches on here. I'm going to run something tighter on the wheel when that's there, so that will come in and fill that space a little bit better once we slam this thing, because it's coming down 5 more inches in the front and in the rear. And here, get to a better point. Here's the rear, and you can see the problem is it'll be nice when it's nice and tight there. But if you were actually doing this to utilize the Jeep wheel well, say if you're doing a 4-wheel drive or something like that, this bed has got to go back somewhere probably close to 9 inches, which is going to give you somewhere around 18 inches in between here, which is really bizarre because these are only on paper 6-inch difference in the wheelbase. I guess the other thing is too, you could come in here and cut the frame out right there, squeeze the whole thing together. I contemplated doing that with this one, but we'll have more fun since we're doing the tiki thing here, adding the tikis in. Nicole really likes that idea. I really like that idea. She convinced me. I mean, she didn't convince me that I liked the idea. She came up with it. She came up with it and I like it. She didn't like, it's not like I was voluntold. That's what we're doing. So that's going to be slammed. That'll be nice and tight. If you're doing one of these, cab gets cut right to this body mount and then straight across. There's a bit where it dips down. I can't get to it, but you just run that straight across, run the cab right up to it, and that fits in really nice there. I had gotten this cab, or the front end set. I had a video I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I smashed my finger and split it open. So that's why it's been a week, I think, in between recording here. Luckily, we have plenty of super glue on hand for such things. But I was able to come back out, and what I had to do to make that happen is notch the inner fenders, and then I had to separate this piece on the Suburban firewall to bring it in so that that would come forward, because you can see right here that it would have cut into that. So I'm going to maybe cut this down and re-weld it in there, or completely take it off of there and find another place for that connector to live. This piece has got to get pulled back. Just the weight of it leans it forward with the brake booster and everything down here. So I'll have to do that, and then I have the slow, painful process of welding this stuff together. I'm gonna have to cut straight across here, clean a lot of it up, but a lot of it shouldn't be too bad if I just do it in little pieces, parts, to get everything welded up in here. To get this to fit, I had to cut this wheel well right at the little dent to clear the box for the heater. I'm gonna have to cut this level. I'll box that off flat and go from there, because I think that was the... Okay, my microphone overheated there and died. Going back and looking at this, this is actually the fresh air intake. So I'll have to add a vent there. Down here on the bottom, I'm going through talking about how I have to connect the two firewalls together with a little bit of gap, but I have to remove the fender flares and then fill in some of the piece that I cut so I can bolt that to the firewall off of the Suburban. The fender flares here I thought were just bolted on, but they are actually spot welded together. And back here, mentioning that we're going to insert the big rum barrel. Don't know if I mentioned that from the beginning, but that's what's going to sit in there, filled with tikis in between. Up and around the front, it all looks good. That was kind of it for this episode. Please like, comment, share. Tell us how you do anything a little bit different, but it's coming along. Can't wait to start getting on the tiki stuff and get welding and get all that firewall put together. I'm going to look at the interior next and see what I have to do to fit the seats and everything in there, but we're moving along pretty nicely right now. Thanks for all your support.